teachers' technological proficiency or skills. And then after that one, how does this teacher's level of technological proficiency um, has kuan ka ng relationship with kuan students level of language learning, no? So inana. And then ano, the second is what's then the language learning, the level of students language learning. And then third dayon is the relationship between the teachers learning and the skills in technology. And then the second question would be on the kuan kanang students level of language learning. So after doing, or if it is a quantitative research, usually you ask first the first variable and then the second variable, and then in the third question it would be then the relationship of the first and your second variable, or your first and second results of the statement of the problem. Or if you'd like to know the difference pa, then you're going to add 4. But if it's a purely qualitative research, it would really depend, no? Or again, it is usually doesn't have research questions, but it is mostly on aims and objectives alone. Why? Because you'd like to add, especially for basic research, your purpose there is not to give solution, you're not to give or answer a certain issues and concern, but to add more information about certain topic. Like if it is on academic integrity and plagiarism, then you wala siya question. If, example, you're not focusing on questions, you're focusing only on giving more information about certain topics. Manang natay mga basic research type of research. Now, I'd like you also to share with here in screen. So I'm gonna share okay, here. In your introduction, I have mentioned that you shall be including all your literature reviews already, no, in your introduction. So mostly of your research nga mga relevant resources and researches shall be included in your um, introduction. So here is a very good site that would help you. This is a free site. Now, there are actually a lot also of mga research sites which are not free. Unfortunately, our school did not avail that one. But in other schools, no, such kind of natay ProQuest, in which usually the Philippine um, published research are there, so you may use it as your reference. Dili na kanit nga mag-adto, no, kay in reality, suppose when you do research, you're also needing to be visiting different libraries, especially in the big universities. That is why that's one part gani if you're going to do your research in graduate school, no? So there is really some school doesn't really have a certain subject that is intended for kanang traveling to the different kuan kanang libraries and universities around the Philippines na to gather information, book, mga published book. But there are already platforms also that can be used, and that, for example, kind of ProQuest. No? So some of the, well, most of the universities and other colleges already have availed that one. But since we also have free nga mga online platforms in which still have the same function with those who are actually paid, which are actually paid. So that's why we are just going to maximize, no, kay mga free nga mga platforms. Eric is an example of a free platform wherein you can actually do a thorough research of relevant resources. So aside from just putting it in a Google, no, pwede po ka when you're going to search in Google, pwede po Google Scholar, no? So instead of kanang plainly in a Google lang nga navigation tool ang imo ang gamiton, so first step is to go first to a Google Scholar, meaning para filtered na dili na ka matagaan o other nga mga resources like kanang naay bay tay mga online magazines, di ba? Natin mga online magazines, natin mga kanang mga online blogs. So para ma-filter tanan about the research lang good, so you may go to Google Scholar first or just go directly to ERIC. No? So all the things that you will be seeing and in an ERIC na kanang nga platform are actually published, no, legitimate. Why? Because there are also a lot of kanang not legitimate nga mga kanang platforms. So here, for example, computer language teaching, if you're going to search for that one, so you are going to see a lot, no, thousands actually. If diri mo sa Pikas, a lot of kanang what is it? Resources here. So there are actually more than 420 no mga resources. So this would actually help you look for the different relevant resources. So pwede po ka mo filter here the publication date. So in 2022, so di ba? You would also know no how kanang relevant and important your kanang study is. Okay, for example, computer language teaching, but in 2022 there is still no published research about computer language teaching. So zero pa siya. If you can actually look at it, kita ba siya? Kita ko na i-zoom. Okay, here. Klaro na ninyo? Klaro na? Ano yung pwede mo? Pag-impong, yes, no, ma'am, dili, ma'am. Okay. Tubag-tubag set. Grabe set mo, oy. Okay, so here, wala siya published no in 2022. So since 2021, in the whole year 2021, there are 313 relevant research about that one the last 5 years, no? Kay mga nagsubmit sa kuha the resources were actually in the year 1990 ana pa. So this would help you filter. So for example, let's click. No, so pwede pa man ang 10 years, no? 5 to 10 years. Okay, so manggawas dayon ang mga creation, mga write-ups nga mga research in that certain year. So since 2013 up until the present. Especially if you are going to do a textual analysis. So for example, you're going to do a textual analysis of a kanang comparison of the previous literature and the current literature. So this would help you a lot, no? So for example dayon and naapoy specific diri, would it be in language instruction, language learning, or foreign countries? So naatanan ang iyang kuan. Sources also, so naay mga different sources diri, no? Actually, kanang research journal which is named as research journal. There are free no niya nga mga kuan. However, also a lot of it are actually not for free. So you need to pay for usually 129 pesos monthly or 200 pesos monthly to view, no? Kailangan ka mag-subscribe. Some even of the book are actually kuan gyud siya kanang you need to buy the whole research article so you can actually view it. If you are really very much interested, you can really buy. No, you need to. We are just lucky because in English education there are a lot of published nga mga kanang research journals. No? So ang struggle actually ay ang kanang mga Filipino nga mga researchers, um, Filipino language researchers, because